Kevin, you're the big winner.
What do I win?
You'll find out at the beginning of the third act of the movie.
Hey everyone, welcome to Straight Jacket Talk. My name is Kevin, and I'm joined by my co-host, who used to go by the nickname Sawtooth Jack, Nathan.
How you doing, Kevin?
You know, I wish I had a cool nickname like Sawtooth Jack.
Well, you could. We could come up with something right now. How about Wheezy?
That's what he should have been called, Wheezy.
I don't know why we want to change the name of Sawtooth Jack to Wheezy. I really don't. I don't understand.
Because they're supposed to kill him, right?
Right.
And how do you kill a guy whose name is Sawtooth Jack? It just sounds badass.
I guess you just shoot him in the head.
Or beat him to death with a bat.
Yeah, that's
Something like that.
apparently all it takes.
Well, we watched Dark Harvest from 2023. It was written by Michael Giglio and directed by David Slade. Do you know what other movies David Slade directed at all?
Well, I've seen 30 Days of Night.
Yeah. Yep.
I have not seen Hard Candy, which apparently is the most acclaimed movie that he's done.
Well, I don't know. He also directed Twilight Eclipse.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I haven't seen any of those movies. So I can't even talk shit. I know I'm supposed to, but I don't like to talk shit about stuff I haven't seen. So
Yeah, I got you. Hey, listen, there's fans for everything. It's just kind of, he's directed kind of a potpourri of movies here.
a pretty eclectic group of movies. Yes.
Yeah, and this is based on the 2006 novel by Norman Partridge called Dark Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on Rotten Tomatoes, this has a 70% critic score and a 48% audience score. So audiences didn't really like this one too much. But what did we think of this movie? Now, before we get into the review, first off, this is going to be a spoiler review. So this is a warning. This movie just came out last year, so we want to do that ahead of time. So if you haven't seen the movie and you're like, man, I don't want to be spoiled, go watch the movie and then come right back to us and watch our review. Second off, please hit the like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because when we have more videos, you will be the first to know. Isn't that right?
That's right. It's a privilege.
Yes, 100%. Now, Dark Harvest, old Sawtooth Jack. This is another one that really kind of made its way through the horror community, talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really well known, I would say, out there.
Right.
But I didn't really have any spoilers going into this. How about you? Did you
the most spoiler
see anything else?
Yeah, no, the most spoiler-y thing that I saw was the description on Amazon Prime. That's all I read the description on Amazon Prime. So I knew it was about a demon named Sawtooth Jack who needed to get to a church, and that's about it.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
I really find myself enjoying not knowing too much going into a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Sometimes it's best not to even know the premise. It gets a little tough though, because if you don't even know the premise, it's like, do you know that you actually want to invest time in this, because your time is finite? But
Right.
But I would prefer to go in blind if that was a possibility, if that was a thing I could actually do. But
yeah, 100%. I think part of the problem too in newer movies is their trailers they release are just so full of the actual movie.
They spoil everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I don't want to know all this.
Yeah, like Have you seen the trailer for that new Vampire Girl movie?
Yes.
Wouldn't you have preferred to not know that she was a vampire girl?
Yes.
Wouldn't you have
Yeah.
preferred to have gone into that movie just thinking, oh, this is a kidnapping movie and it's going to get spooky and scary?
Yes.
But instead, we know we know the surprise. It could have been a surprise, you know?
Yeah. It's weird. Like, I wonder if they do that on purpose with like
They
today's
do.
audience. Yeah.
They do. I mean, from what I understand, and I've heard this secondhand from like a YouTube channel, so grain of salt, but apparently it works. Showing people everything in the movie makes them want to come see the movie. Whereas keeping mystery about it, people forget about it and they don't go see the movie. So
I don't get it. I really don't.
yeah, I don't get it either. It used to be that you could create like a viral marketing campaign. And what's the movie I'm thinking of? Nobody knew what Cloverfield was about from those advertisements.
Yeah, that's a great example.
You know, nobody had a clue. And it
Yeah.
was, I believe that was successful, right? I don't have any numbers in front of me.
Yeah, I think so. I'll give you a perfect example. Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. All you got from Blair Witch Project was that camera angle up that girl's nose and and speculation over whether or not it was real.
Yes.
And that's how that,
but it worked.
yeah, it went viral before the word viral was actually a thing back then.
Yeah,
because
that's
everybody
true.
was talking about it before the movie even came out. So,
It's crazy to think. I wonder how much that would have blown up if it was in today's world, or if they could do something like that.
I have no idea. I don't think, has anybody really tried something like that? Well, I mean, I guess A24 doesn't tend to spoil a huge amount of stuff in their trailers.
Yeah,
And they don't really do traditional advertising, and they have some success still. So I guess A24 stuff is kind of an analog to the Blair Witch type of thing. A little bit. Not quite the same.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, that could be true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see that. I mean, it really works for me for this movie, Dark Harvest, because like, what I love is we're dropped right into the situation at the start of the movie. There's
Yeah.
a kid with the was it the JFK mask?
Was it JFK? I
I
can't
thought it
even
was.
remember.
Yeah, I thought it was JFK.
It was like a president, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's, in the middle of this road between two cornfields, and it's just like, boom, we're right in the movie. We get that narration, kind of this creepy narrator over, which I
Right.
wish we had more of actually in the movie. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. If they could have done some narration, I suppose. Could have explained the curse a little better using the narration. But,
With this movie, it can be frustrating at times because I don't think it spoon feeds you everything.
Okay. I guess I'll get right on with it. I didn't like this movie that much.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it wasn't that it wasn't spoon feeding me stuff. It was that I just felt like a lot of stuff in the movie didn't actually make much sense. And I'm not sure that an explanation even would have helped a lot. Like, I don't know. Oh, you're cursed. You have to stay in this town. But it seems that the only thing keeping these people in this town is one police officer who shows up and fucks you up if you try to leave. So stuff like that kind of just bothered me and took me out of it. And I don't think it's because it didn't spoon feed me. I just didn't like it.
agree. I agree. I have two big problems with this movie. The first is what you touched on, where they don't really go into a big explanation of why people can't leave this town, because why wouldn't you want to leave this town that has this curse that, a demon pumpkin head type of creature comes every Halloween to try to make it to a church, and you have to send your boys to kill it before it gets to church?
I mean, there's so many people in this fucking town. This is not that small a town.
Yeah, it's not really a small town.
No, it's like I live in a very, very much smaller town than this town. You know, like that high school assembly there in the gymnasium was like the size of the entire high school of my high school getting together, boys and girls. And they've only got a certain age of boys there.
Right.
You
yeah,
know?
there were a lot of boys.
Also, my high school served 5 damn towns. So, you know, our high school served 5 towns. And it was still,
yep.
So you would think at least some people would be like, oh, fuck, this happens every year? Are you kidding me? And then get the fuck out of there. Because it's not even just the boys. These kids, like the whole town gets destroyed and things get lit on fire.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it really helps the narrative of it, but you know, I think part of what they're going for in like not escaping is they allude to this like secret guild or secret society that will eventually kill you if you get out of the town or whatever. That's
how?
talked
Where's
about
the enforcement? They have one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't see any of that. We see one police officer and one big farmer guy that seem like they're really ahead of this guild situation, right?
Yeah. I mean, from what I can tell, their muscle is one dude. And then that farmer is not muscle. He's an old man who got the drop on Richie. And that's, but I mean, I believe the line in that church where Richie's talking to his dad is, if you're born here, you're cursed. You can't leave. And Kelly says, and the curse is Officer Ricks.
If you're born in this town, you're cursed. They would have murdered us. No one can ever leave, son. Who?
Ricks. The Harvesters Guild.
Which sort of led me to believe that you can't leave because Officer Ricks is going to get you, but it's like he can't be everywhere. Like the town's not walled in. You know, you just find out when Ricks is on the other side of town and go.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, that's what I was thinking too. You know, I wish they had more of a concrete idea of what is keeping them, or like at least show us maybe, you know, what has happened to people who have tried to escape or something like that, you know?
Right.
Have that visual that, you know, and my other thing as to maybe why they don't, and I'm just piecing this together in my mind, is it's supposed to be in the 60s, right? Yeah. 1960 or
like 61 or something like that. Yeah.
You know, back then too, people were afraid of different areas too. So there might have been less wanting to go somewhere, you know?
I don't know.
So you might not have. I'm just piecing this together in my mind, man, of what makes sense.
I mean, I guess, but you know, I'd rather be in the worst part of town of a major city than be in this fucking town on Halloween night. I don't know. This isn't my only problem with this movie, but
well, my second big problem is that for me, I'm actually going to go the opposite way of you. I have problems, but I love this movie.
Right. Okay. I had a feeling we might disagree on this movie.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's cool to have opposite opinions. We can't each love everything. Then what the hell? Our show would be stupid.
Right.
But my other big problem is that, you know, we don't see anybody from the outside either come to this town.
It's suggested that Kelly is the new girl, but
so that gets into my other kind of issue with like not seeing anybody else come in. I felt like this was almost a Stephen King type of movie at times.
Just trying to be, at least.
But my thing with Stephen King, the problem I have with Stephen King movies is that there's way too much like character development and like getting to know the people and everything. And I like that. I do. But I think at times Stephen King gets
Stephen King. But
I hear you. I get that.
That's
and
what I love about like The Shining, but
I get that. I just think sometimes it takes too much away from the horror element of what's going on and becomes like a character piece with horror elements in it.
Right.
This felt like the opposite way. Like, I want to know more about the characters involved. We got little pieces and everything. I liked like this town environment, and I wanted to know, take us more in. Richie had a year after his brother won the run. Right. Let's see what his life has been like. He has this chip on his shoulder.
Right.
To prove he's not a fuck up. Like he's, because his brother Jim was the golden boy, right?
Yeah, which, if you ask me, is the stupidest reason to want to do this run. But
but that's what I'm saying. Let's get into like what happened in the year. Like what's led him to make this decision that he is volunteering to do this because he doesn't have to do it.
Yeah.
His family has already been involved in the run. So the run too, we should clarify is
okay.
Like,
yeah, we should get into the actual premise of the movie here.
It's kind of like being in a draft in a way, right? They take these boys who are, what are they, 18?
It's like 16 to 18.
So they're drafted into this pretty much. They're picked. They're locked in their rooms for 3 days before Halloween with no food, no water, going crazy.
Yeah.
And then they are let out on Halloween night to go hunt down Sawtooth Jack and make sure that they kill him before he gets to the old church, which I guess is in the center of town. They never really specify where it is exactly.
I don't need to know where it is, but yeah.
Yeah, so...
Because otherwise, Sawtooth Jack, like, curses their crops and they end up with a dust bowl or something like that.
You've all heard the stories about that one time we failed at our duties. And that black duster rolled in and destroyed our crops.
Yeah, so for like 10 years, they said the last time it happened where he reached the old church.
Yeah, it was it was a dust bowl for 10 years, which lines up with the real dust bowl, I believe, actually. But
I was going to say that, yeah, because
I don't know that for sure. I should have looked into that before we started recording, but I feel like it did. Like the
there
Grapes
is a
of Wrath
scene in the
that.
movie. Yeah, there is a scene where they show like a picture of like a dust bowl, but I've seen those in history where like, it actually happened. So it's almost like they're taking a real life event and turning this urban legend type of curse into the town.
Yeah. Yeah. And, if you lock somebody in their room for 3 days without food or water, they'll come out half dead, but instead of ravenous. But anyway.
Yeah, instead of crazy.
If you win the run, your family gets a sweet house and you get a sweet car and you get to leave town.
Yes. And your family also gets a check too for like 25 grand.
Yeah,
or something
like 25 grand, which 61 was a lot more than it is now, obviously.
Right.
So Richie is our main character, and Richie's brother won the run at the beginning of the movie. And then you get the time jump to a year later, and Richie is immune from having to do the run. Because his brother won last year, so he doesn't have to.
And then we see them in, like you said, the school gymnasium. It looked like,
There's a lot of boys in that gymnasium.
There's a lot of boys, and we meet Officer Ricks, Officer Dix. He played a role in Halloween Resurrection. He was like the bad boy guy in that movie.
Yeah, like I told you, I haven't seen that movie since it came out in theaters, so it's been a long time, and I don't plan on.
He plays a great asshole.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like him in this movie, to be honest with you.
You're not supposed to.
No, I didn't
just
like the
didn't like his
performance. I didn't like.
I gotcha.
It was too much.
Now get it all out now, because this is not a fucking game!
Over the top.
Yeah, this movie was trying real hard to be serious for a lot of it, and I don't know. Like, I can't imagine a person acting like Officer Ricks just constantly. In fact, I believe one of the characters even has a line about it, like, this guy only has one gear.
Out of the car!
This guy's stuck in one gear.
And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I fucking know, man. Like, can we calm it down? Can you have a normal conversation with somebody at some point?
Right. Oh, man. Even when he's like talking, like I can imagine what his breath smells like. He's just like in on you know. Ugh.
Remnants of bologna sandwich in his teeth, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know why I decided he eats bologna sandwiches, but...
So we get this scene where he's basically, I guess, pumping the kids up, but also like scaring them about Sawtooth Jack.
I don't want to go on this run after I hear this speech, I'll tell you. But
yeah, so all the kids are kind of talking about it, where we get the meet up of the kind of asshole kid who's the jock kid. His name's Riley. He obviously has an issue with Richie, who is a greaser kid, right? He runs with like kind of the greaser pack.
Yeah.
So they're like the bad boys versus the jocks. Yeah. So, and they're talking, and what I really liked, and I wanted to see more of this, and I've heard that the book touches on this more,
right?
Where like they start talking about how Sawtooth Jack, like the urban legends they've heard on him. And I wish it was more like that, where it's like he becomes an urban legend. Right. You know, and they talk about maybe it's a prisoner that they put in a costume and send out.
Officer Friendly, there. He buses in a boogie inmate from the Dixie Springs Correctional.
I heard this too.
He stuffs his britches full of candy, puts on a big fat pumpkin on his woolly head, and boo.
But that whole conversation doesn't make sense to me either. Like, how could they be confused about whether or not he's... Every year, like 50 boys fucking die. You think that was just some prisoner? Like,
dude, they're kids, you know, they're kids from the 60s, you know, they're not engaged in like internet and things like that. They're, you know, gullible.
I wasn't on the internet. Well, I mean, technically I was watching the movie through the internet. But I wasn't like Googling what Sawtooth Jack was when I was sitting there going, why would you think that? He killed so many people. He killed so many people.
Oh, man.
You know? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I just wish they built this up more like of, you know, Sawtooth Jack. Let's get different stories. Because it sounds to me like an urban legend when we were kids, you know, like somebody made up this Sawtooth Jack. It just sounds like a cool urban legend. So I wish they went on that more.
Like a Bloody Mary type of thing or something like that. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Yeah, I hear you.
Exactly. So, you know, we get scenes of, you know, Richie kind of going through the town, right? And Riley, the asshole jock, is trying to beat him up.
Yeah.
He meets Kelly, who is kind of his love interest. She's the girl, like you said, that moves into the town. We're not really given any information on her. So again, it's...
Other than she burned some stuff down at one point.
She apparently is bad, too.
Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, they were like rumors. Richie's friends were saying like, oh, she burned down this farmer's barn, and she burned down this old mine. I was thinking they were making these rumors on her because she's black, and I'm like,
that's how I felt about it too at first, and then it turned out no, she did that.
I like later on when Richie's talking to her and she's like, what have you heard? And he tells her those things, and she's like, yeah, or she gets mad at him. She gets mad at him.
Yeah, she's like, no, those rumors. They're lies. Why would you believe these lies about me? And then like 5 minutes later, for no reason, she just fesses up.
Pat Shanley says you burned down Old Man Bagley's barn.
Why would I do that?
I don't know.
That's stupid. I burned down old man Bagley's barn.
Anyway.
She was defensive.
Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't have much of a character, if you ask me, so I can't get too upset.
And that goes to what I was saying before. I really wish they had built these characters up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, I wish we were involved in the town more. I love the scenes in the town. I thought they did a really good job of setting the atmosphere.
The town is a cool setting, for sure. It looks cool. All the jack-o'-lanterns look cool. The premise is actually pretty cool. There's a lot to like about this movie. And I know I've been negative about it this entire time, but I'm partly just...
You wanted more for this movie?
Yeah. My issues with the logic, I feel like, are fixable. And the opening scene, I loved that a lot. It was scary as hell. And there's a bunch of stuff like that I liked from this movie that we will get to eventually. I will stop complaining eventually.
No. I would say, right, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, but you thought this movie had a greater potential that it didn't reach at all.
Yeah.
And that's what's frustrating about it. Like,
Yeah.
you don't think this was a complete piece of shit.
No, I don't. I don't.
Like, unwatchable.
No, I don't feel that way at all.
Yeah.
But we're going over a lot of stuff that right up front that I have issues with. So
Yeah, I got you.
Character development being a key thing, because I did not give a single damn about Richie or Kelly. I didn't care about them at all.
Yeah.
And the stakes
I
are
think-
really hard when you don't care about the characters.
And I
So-
think more character stuff would have helped this movie a lot, because it's a pretty quick movie, right? It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half. It's also that the character stuff we do get with Richie didn't make me like Richie.
Yeah.
I kind of thought Richie was a little bit of a prick. And like, his motivations didn't make sense to me. So
What I want to touch on really quick before we kind of continue reviewing is, I thought the atmosphere in this movie was like one of the best things going for this movie.
Yeah.
You know, the cornfields, the shots in there were amazing. I liked how there wasn't much, like street light shots and things like that. There was a lot of moonlit kind of shots that were really done well.
Yeah.
What you said is awesome. The jack-o'-lanterns in this movie are everywhere.
Everywhere. There had to have been thousands of the damn things all over town. It was like the entire town was lit with jack-o'-lanterns.
Yeah, it was cool. It made you feel like Halloween. And I heard like another podcast review this movie, and they were saying they were let down because there wasn't like Halloween decorations and stuff like that. My thought is, why would you be celebrating Halloween when Sawtooth Jack is coming? It's not very but the jack-o'-lanterns to me were kind of like almost like a memorial. Like, it was kind of that cool effect of like, I don't know, like a funeral setting. It was kind of the opposite to me, but it got you in that Halloween atmosphere 100%.
Yeah, for sure. The thing about that, though, they say it wasn't decorated for Halloween, but a jack-o'-lantern is a Halloween decoration, and there was thousands of them. So what do we? You need more streamers and banners.
Yes.
like all that shit's just gonna get popped when the fucking ritual starts anyway. It's all gonna get destroyed anyway.
Yeah, the kids would be crazy, but I could picture Sawtooth Jack coming through with like one of them big Frankenstein inflatables. Like just like setting on fire. There's fires everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so the run's gonna happen, but before the run happens, Richie has this thing with his parents where he's, telling them he's gonna do the run, and
he's not allowed to do the run because his brother.
Yeah, he's not allowed. Right, and his dad's trying to talk him out of it, and
Because why?
Because it's against the rules.
Because it's against the rules, that's right.
Fuck the rules.
And the thing is, with his brother Jim, nobody knows where he is. It's talked about he's in California, and this is kind of a recurring thing throughout the movie.
Richie receives a postcard from him that says he was in New Orleans. And well, this kind of leads me to another thing that I was disappointed in. Richie gets a letter from his brother, and the wording was, I can't come home yet. I can't have you come and visit me. And I was like, oh, Jim is Sawtooth Jack. Immediately.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
I'm going to give you my crazy thought when I read that letter, because it also kind of gave... When I read the... as Richie, when I read the letter.
When you were Richie, yeah.
When I was reading it along with Richie, I was thinking this movie was going to go in a completely different route.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I thought this was going to go in the way of The Village.
Oh.
This town was set in the 60s, but it was 2023. Like, I was thinking this town was, I guess, stuck in the 60s, and like in The Village, where there was this community and no one could leave, and they were going to show us eventually why nobody could leave.
Right.
But I was thinking, like, if you actually won this run, they did let you leave.
Either way, the letter was obviously fake, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was obviously fake, but I wasn't thinking that was from Jim. I knew that was from his parents because of the wording in there specifically was kind of everything they had just talked about when Richie was telling him about the run and he was upset and everything. So, everything in that letter was... And I think, too, Richie kind of almost... His character kind of gives it away in a way that he knows too that it's fake,
because he's got like this look on his face like, what is this?
Yep. And that causes him to then hotwire a car and he's fucking out of there. He's going.
Yeah.
And then here's our friend, Officer Ricks,
who is
waiting for him at the end of the road.
The Harvesters Guild's only muscle. Yeah. The only thing keeping anybody from leaving.
Yeah. Here's the thing I didn't understand. Why? So Officer Ricks gets out of the car. He's telling Richie to get out of his car. Did he have his gun drawn on him or no?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, okay.
I think I remember him having his gun drawn on him. Yeah.
Because I was like, why would Richie get out of his car?
He didn't
just keep driving around.
I mean, even with the gun drawn on him, just drive around him. I don't know. I guess
he's a kid too. He's scared.
Yeah, and when you think about it, Richie didn't know the stakes at that point. Now that I think about it, he didn't know that this was his life or death. He didn't understand what was at stake yet. He just was a pissed off kid who wanted to leave town.
Yeah, he was just like, he was like, fuck
if you're a
it.
pissed off kid who wants to leave town and a cop draws his gun on you, you get out of the car and comply. So
you sound like you've had experience in this.
No, I've never had a gun drawn on me.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
So Officer Ricks beats him, right? With take his nightstick. Yeah. Knocks him out. The run begins. I kind of like this scene, even though, like you said, it doesn't make sense why these kids would be fucking amped up with this adrenaline, like bursting through their doors, ready to go. Like they should be like emaciated and like
yeah.
But I liked it. It's cool because they all open their doors and these kids go out with these old school Halloween masks, which I love.
Right.
That is like Halloween. I love it. Old. A couple of the kids, did you see, had the Three Stooges?
Oh, I didn't see that. No, I didn't notice that, but that's cool.
Yeah, they were three kids that were together throughout like a couple of the scenes, but they were also the ones who were huffing. I don't know if it's glue or whatever they were huffing in a bag.
Right.
And they were talking about Jim. They were like, oh, I heard I forgot where, playing
he's
in a band.
a rock band or something like that. Yeah, the rumors abound with Jim.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that thread throughout because it's kind of like it leads to like, okay, well, somebody escaped and this is why we do the run. And
Right. Yeah.
And it was a Misfits reference.
Run for a rock band in Jersey? Oh, where'd you hear that?
What everyone's saying.
No one is saying that.
I heard he got an album coming out, Teenagers from Mars.
There's a song that they mention. I forget the title of the song, but they mention the title of the song of like the album he's working on. Apparently,
Is it
or the name of the rock band he's in?
Is it Come On? Oh, okay. Yeah,
that's another Misfit reference.
Come On to the Violent World with Me is another Misfits reference.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I was going to complain about that line because I don't like it, but I'll refrain now that I know what it's from.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's a cool kind of nod to the Misfits with that, but so Richie wakes up and he throws his dad off him and he's ready to do the run. Like his dad's trying to stop him. He's like, fuck it, I'm doing this run. Because we see Richie's friends have started the run and they have a truck and they're getting in the truck and they're going to go after Sawtooth Jack in the cornfield. And boom, here comes Richie. He's there with them.
Yeah.
And then they got their fucking skull masks, the crimson skull masks, another reference to the Misfits as well.
And this is where we get into, I would say it's the best scene in the movie. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I loved all this stuff. I loved all, like, as soon as the run begins, I really love it because it's like chaos. I love the camera.
Right.
And he did the same camera work in 30 Days a Night where you're almost in with the chaos, you know, how it's moving and things like that.
Which 30 Days a Night is another movie that I am not
have problems with.
Yeah, I have fewer problems with that movie than I do this movie. But I thought that was kind of mediocre. But
gotcha.
I'm not really finding myself wanting to watch more of this guy's stuff. But sorry.
So when he does the next Twilight movie, you're going to skip it.
I might skip the next Twilight movie, yeah.
Yeah. So this is where we get the line, come on to a violent world with me.
Yeah.
Referencing the Misfits. I like how they all put their masks down, heading into the road that goes between the cornfields.
And the cornfields are a scary spot. That's what I really love about this part of the movie is the cornfields are a legitimately scary spot because, you know, you got all those corn stalks and you know that things can be in those corn stalks that you can't see because they're like 6-7 feet tall. So you can't really see over them. And
I wish they spent more time in this.
Dude,
I do.
They should have spent like half the movie in these damn cornfields, honestly, because the cornfield stuff was fun. With Sawtooth Jack ripping people in half.
Oh, man. Yeah, so these guys in the truck are going on the road. Boom, they hit something. They're like, oh, my God, that must have been Sawtooth Jack. Where is he?
Yeah.
So they start looking. They see some footprints that lead into the cornfields, which is creepy. I love that. You know?
That's super creepy. That is some foreshadowing there.
And as soon as they're like, where is he? Out of focus. Such a creepy scene, visual, where he comes up through the cornfield like a ways away. It reminded me of, do you remember the movie Signs at all?
Yeah, I do. That was back when M. Night Shyamalan was great.
It reminded me of that Alien.
Oh, yeah.
That one you liked.
Yeah, I like Signs. I think that's a great movie.
But didn't that have some of that kind of creature feature?
Yeah. The alien just being you just catch glimpses of it out of focus until like the very end. It almost did a Jaws thing in a way.
Yes,
I can see where you're getting that comparison from.
I liked that a lot. And then so they go into the cornfield And then, like you said, they can't see what's going on.
No, yeah.
And all of a sudden, brutality strikes.
Yeah. Yeah. Sawtooth Jack is ripping people's heads off, chopping them in half. There was that one crazy kill that always gets me when Sawtooth Jack cut him right through here.
Oh yeah.
For some, you see that a lot in gore these days, but for some reason I don't get desensitized to it. It still gives me that feeling, you know? So
I think too, especially in this scene, because it's kind of out of, like, it just happens, you know, there's no real build up to it.
No.
So you just get that boom.
Right. And you get
That's
that
why
feeling.
it's like, oh.
Yeah. And you get that feeling in your gut, like, oh, anything could happen at any time. When's the next thing coming? Right.
Yes.
So
and you can't see shit in this cornfield.
No. Yeah, exactly. Or you just catch glimpses again. So
yes, that's what's scary. I love that, where you're not getting exposed to the whole thing that's coming after you, or
right,
you know,
yeah,
about to kill you.
Right.
So Richie does get close to the creature, right? To Sawtooth Jack,
right?
And is this where he sees?
No, no, that's later.
Okay,
that's
okay.
Later. He's
So he just gets scared, right, of Sawtooth Jack. And
Sawtooth
he
Jack
runs the other way?
I think Sawtooth Jack actually starts making his way towards
to the town.
Yeah.
Okay.
That Richie just sort of survives this encounter.
Okay. And then Kelly comes into the cornfield, and she shouldn't be doing the run either, because she's
girls aren't allowed.
A girl.
Yeah.
And she's black, as they later lay in the segregation angle too.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, that felt like a checklist for the 60s or the early 60s. Like, what do we need for the early 60s? Greasers, jocks, racism. Okay, we're good. We got the 60s.
And that's why, again, this felt very much like a Village type of thing for me, because it felt very much like it didn't feel like a timepiece overall.
No,
you know, it felt very just like a stylized situation.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking, like, maybe this is happening now.
See, I don't know. I just immediately knew when that letter was read, Jim is Sawtooth Jack. I don't.
Yeah.
And that's going to be because you can tell there's some sort of secret going on in it, you know.
Yes.
Like there's something rotten about this town. It almost reminds me of the feeling, this is a much different kind of movie, but the feeling you get when watching Hot Fuzz. Like, have you seen that movie?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's a great movie.
It's a comedy, though.
It's a black comedy.
Okay.
It's a lot of people die in that movie, and they, you know, they think it's one murderer doing it. I can't spoil Hot Fuzz for you. Sorry, I was gonna have an explanation, but I can't spoil it.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you definitely get the feeling that there's more to this town than meets the eye. There's more to this ritual than you know. And then that letter was read, and I was like, oh, that's not actually from Jim. Therefore, Jim is Sawtooth Jack. And every Sawtooth Jack is the winner from the year before. I knew it immediately. I don't know.
Yeah, you figured it out.
Yeah, which...
I was dumb.
I don't think you were dumb, but I don't know. The reveal didn't have much of an impact for me because of that. You know, when they showed his belt, it was like, oh yeah, there's Jim's belt. What I thought was going to happen happened.
So, I mean, we're jumping a little ahead, but for me, the reveal didn't land that good either. But maybe for different reasons. I just thought that the reveal felt a little like confusing, I guess. Like that whole scene at the end. Richie wants to help Sawtooth Jack make it to the church. And then
I didn't like that scene at all.
Also kills him at the end. I don't know. That confused me. But before we get there,
right.
One of Richie's friends that he's with, he makes it out of the cornfield because he's scared. And he tries to get into his parents' house, and they kick him back out, which is a tough scene to watch.
Let me in, please.
Do us proud now.
I don't want to die. Oh,
Do us proud.
Mommy.
Go.
Mommy, please.
We need these. Okay, honey, we need these.
Be a man.
Sawtooth Jack has now made his way out of the cornfield and is kind of coming up on Richie. Or not Richie, Richie's friend. And Richie's friend tries to make his way into the, there's like this hatchway, this bunker that kids are in.
Right.
And they're like, hey, $20 to get in here. It's like, I don't have the money. And they're like, all right, fuck it. You're not coming in.
$20 is a lot more money back then than it is now. That's probably more like
Agreed.
$150.
Agreed. You know, if I was them, though, I wouldn't open that door no matter what.
No. No. Sawtooth Jack is out there. Just,
and then one of the kids
you're not
has
trying
a heart.
to win, just close the door.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the kids has a heart and is like, hey, let's let him in. Bad idea.
Bad idea, yeah.
I would have fucking knocked that kid out, man.
Yeah. No. No.
This is life or death.
Yeah, if you wanted in this bunker, you should have gotten into it at the beginning of the run like we did when things were still safe.
They let him in, or they go to let him in, right? They open the door a little bit, and there's Sawtooth Jack.
Yeah.
Who just fucking killed Richie.
Yeah.
Or not Richie, Richie's friend. Sawtooth Jack kills him and then opens the doors, and all we see is just this massive blood splatter.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It reminded me a little bit of like the blood coming out of the elevator in The Shining. A little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought of that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or
kind of Stephen King thing.
Yeah. Or Johnny Depp in
Nightmare.
Yeah, in Nightmare.
Yep. I thought of that too. Yeah.
That was
I
good.
was like, this is kind of a cool homage of just pure blood. Yeah. And I love, so after that scene, we get kind of scenes throughout town of just pure anarchy. Kids are killing. We have a cameo appearance by Mark Boone Jr., who I guess is a store owner or the
Give me a
grocery
sandwich.
store owner.
You can't come into my store. Just give us a sandwich.
Give us a fucking sandwich!
Dude, he gets fucked up.
I believe he's killed, right?
Yeah, they kill him.
Yeah.
They like hack him up, and Richie and Kelly watch. There's nothing they can do. I mean, it's pure chaos on the street.
Why is the store owner even deciding to be on the streets? He knows what's happening out there.
Yeah.
Like,
can you imagine that poor bastard out there every year?
No, he would have died the first year. Kids want a sandwich.
Maybe he's a new shop in town.
Oh, we got new people in town? Why would you move in? Why would you open up a shop you know is going to get ransacked every like that every Halloween because the town
I know. I would just have bars on the windows and shit, and like, don't go near there. Stay at home.
Yeah, yeah. Or just give them sandwiches. It's fine. Once a year, give them sandwiches and placate them. They really want sandwiches. They're willing to kill over it.
Just give them a fucking sandwich.
Sorry.
Right?
That line just cracked me up so hard. I don't know if it was supposed to, but...
So Richie and Kelly end up eventually stealing Officer Rick's...
Stealing his police car. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Officer Ricks gets the better of them when he tricks them with the call over the intercom from the lady at the police station saying they saw Sawtooth Jack. I forgot where it was.
Yeah, it was like a community center or something like that. The thing is, it wasn't really much of a trick, though. Sawtooth Jack was actually there, and Officer Ricks wasn't, now that I think about it. Am I getting the... But then... order of things wrong?
But then but so Sawtooth Jack is there, and this is where
the reveal happens.
Richie discovers that he's wearing Jim's belt buckle.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't kill Sawtooth Jack. Sawtooth Jack fucks Kelly up, and then Sawtooth Jack leaves. But like right after this, Officer Ricks is there. Like, so it is like a surprise attack.
Yeah, Ricks is there. You're right.
Yeah. And then he goes to shoot, and he hits Kelly. So then Richie has to bring Kelly to his house
to get some first aid going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he talks to his mom. His mom's all fucked up.
But
she looks like she's on some Quaaludes or something.
By the way, his mom is the best actor in this movie.
Yeah.
She is the best, and I wish she had more screen time just because she was very compelling. She had very little screen time, and she was still my favorite character because she just did such a good job in this performance. But
this is a creepy scene because, like I said, she looks like she's on some sort of, Quaaludes or something.
Right.
She's got tears in her eyes. She's trying to just give him straight answers, and he's like begging her to tell him the truth about Sawtooth Jack, about Jim. She won't do it.
Please, come on, tell me.
Are you sure you don't want another cupcake? Let me get you some milk. Starlight eyes, sweet dream light.
Right.
But then she says something like, he's got to end it, right?
Yeah.
The
she tells him, you have to end this. You have to, the curse has to go through. Sawtooth Jack has to get to, that's what she's suggesting anyway. I don't remember the exact line.
Has to end. Oh, put an end to it, Richie.
And then she fucking knifes herself.
Right. Because of her grief over what she knows she did to Jim by not fighting back.
Right.
Yeah.
They accepted the nice house, the money,
the car.
Yeah. Just because.
The status.
Yeah. And basically they sacrificed their son for this. So that's kind of, I agree with you though. That's a very compelling scene.
Yeah, I like that.
And then, afterwards we get the scene where they go to the church because they're going to wait for Sawtooth Jack. Meanwhile, Sawtooth Jack has created all this carnage including a very cool scene, which might be my second favorite scene, where Sawtooth Jack goes to, I believe it's their old house, right? Because they're where they lived before. On the other side of town. Yeah, because it had spray painting in that bedroom, and I thought it was their old bedroom. And his pumpkin head starts setting on fire to the room. And it was really cool image. He sets fires to a bunch of shit. He's making his way to the old church. Richie's there. He sees his dad is inside now.
Right.
Before this, though, before this, his dad meets up with Officer Ricks, and his dad's basically like, fuck it, I'm out. We're not doing this. And Officer Ricks is like, no, you're fucking doing it. And Officer Ricks tells him a story about how his brother was killed during the dust storm, and and how this is bad for the town, and he's got to do his job, his responsibility.
Yeah. Richie's dad is a useless wuss in this movie, if you ask me.
Yes.
But
until the very end. The last scene. Here's my thing too. Why couldn't his dad just kill Sawtooth Jack?
I don't know. The ritual says that it has to be one of the boys, one of the 16 to 18-year-old boys, because there's no adults doing this run. They're you know what I'm saying? So I think the ritual says it's got to be one of the boys.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think the whole idea of the ritual is bullshit, though. If you ask me, that is one of the open questions, I guess you'd say. But I don't think that the Dust Bowl happened because they didn't do the ritual. I think that's nonsense. But
yeah, I think it is too. I think it's just shit they created, right?
Right.
But then how do you explain this demon that keeps coming?
Oh, I'm not saying there's nothing supernatural about this. I think Sawtooth Jack is very much supernatural.
I wonder if this town, though, like, it doesn't matter who kills Sawtooth Jack.
Right.
Because whoever does, you just put them in the fucking grave and they become Sawtooth Jack. But I feel like the town decided, like, oh, it's got to be 16 to 18-year-old boys because they're like the most sacrificable, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I had a 16-year-old son, I probably wouldn't consider him sacrificable, but
because like these adults are like, we don't want to put ourselves in risk.
It's a really big town. It's a really big town. Not everybody is in this fucking guild. I just find it hard to believe that there aren't more people rebelling against this idea. There aren't more people rising up and saying, no, I'm not putting my kid out there. The fuck are you talking about? You crazy?
Well, you know what though? And this was kind of a throwaway line too that Dad said, and I wonder if this is true, where the dad said that he didn't, and this what happened in the church when Richie comes and confronts his dad is in there at the end here. And his dad said they didn't know anything about it until Jim won.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
And then,
but I also, but that doesn't change anything of what I said. First of all, the idea that news never got out about who Sawtooth Jack is every year. You get like 30 different parents losing their son when they think he won something. And nobody's like, hey guys, that's outrageous to me. But you don't even need that part. There's thousands of people in this fucking town. Like, I know you can point to things like Jonestown or other like sort of cults where people do. But you know what? Even in Jonestown, there was people trying not to drink that cyanide-laced Kool-Aid. And they were forced to with guns. More than one gun. There was more than one dude with a gun. It wasn't just Officer Ricks.
But this gets back to my point. What this movie really could have used was like a scene or two of showing people trying to escape and like something happened. However it is.
Yeah.
However it happens.
It's got to be something more than Officer Ricks.
I don't know. Yeah, right. Not just Ricks. Not just Ricks. I agree with you on that. I agree with you. So we get to the scene at the end. Richie's figured out it's Jim, Sawtooth Jack. Sawtooth Jack is coming. He's going to make it to the church. And Richie's going to allow him to get through because it's like Sawtooth Jack is coming up and it's just Richie and Kelly and Richie's dad's inside the church. So he's going to make it. All of a sudden, Officer Ricks pulls up with the dickhead kid, not Jim, Riley.
Riley, yeah.
He gave Riley his gun. Riley shoots Sawtooth Jack. Doesn't kill him. He falls into Richie's arms. Richie's kind of trying to carry him up. And then, boom, Riley shoots him again.
Right.
And this is what I had a problem with, right?
I had a problem with this, too. Go on.
Sawtooth Jack grabs Jim's hand.
Richie's hand. Yeah.
And points. So Richie also has a gun. He's pointed at Riley. He then takes the gun and points it towards himself, Sawtooth Jack.
Right.
It's like he wants him to put him out of his misery. Now, I got a couple questions. Does Sawtooth Jack, like, he recognizes Richie?
That's what I felt like.
Yeah, so he wasn't going to, like, hurt Richie?
I mean, if he wanted to hurt Richie, he could have in a whole bunch of different spots in the movie, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
So I feel like he did recognize Richie and that there is some semblance of Jim left inside of Sawtooth Jack. But that creates an even bigger problem for me in that he takes Richie's gun and puts it to his own head and says, you have to shoot me. Because Jim, Sawtooth Jack, knows what's going to happen to Richie if he wins the competition.
Yes, 100%. I agree with this.
So he should just be like, no, get that gun away from me. You shoot me. I don't like
Let
you.
Riley
You
shoot me.
Yeah.
Let the asshole shoot me.
Right. But also, if there's some semblance of Jim inside him, I understand killing people who are in his way to get to the church who are trying to kill him. But he does things like go into that bunker and just rip those kids apart?
Yeah.
Why? If all he wants is to get to the, those kids aren't trying to kill him. Like,
You're right.
So
I mean, maybe it's a situation where like this demon entity is taking up most of his.
Yeah, I suppose.
You know,
maybe I'm nitpicking here. I am nitpicking here because I don't.
No,
like the movie
I agree.
much,
This
but-
is a nitpick, but this scene is where it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
You know, because throughout, like, if he recognizes Jim, that would be okay. Or if he recognizes Richie, that would be okay. Where like he's not going to kill Richie, or
Right.
he wants to be away from him.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, he makes Richie kill him,
Knowing exactly
he
what's going to
knows-
happen.
or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just like, put me out of my pain, put me out of my misery.
I don't know. I have a hard time believing he doesn't know what's going to happen. He went from riding out of town in a Corvette to all of a sudden he saw Tooth Jack. And I guess, I mean, it's possible he doesn't know what's going to happen to Richie, but for me to believe that there'd have to be some explanation as to why he doesn't know that he was killed by Officer Ricks, because you know it was Ricks who did it, because
Yes.
he's the only bad guy in the movie.
Well, so that brings us to the end where Richie has won the run.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the check. He is about to get the car, but before that, they have a dance kind of thing too in celebration.
Kelly gives him a gun.
And he's dancing with he's dancing with Kelly, and he's like, "Hey, meet me. You know, we're getting out of this town." And she gives him a gun that she had taken.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He drives off in the car. He meets her at a rendezvous spot. They're getting out of town. Here's our old pal.
Officer
Well,
Ricks.
first there's like a big tractor or farm equipment blocking the road.
Oh, yeah.
So he can't go through the
Yeah,
road.
they drive a
This
good
is
few
what slows
miles
him down.
before
Yeah.
Officer Ricks catches up to him.
Yeah, so he finally catches up and he gets Richie out of the car. He's got his gun drawn on Richie.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking him to where Sawtooth Jack originates. Like there's this big T
Right.
and they have an open grave. And he's like basically like, "Oh, I didn't think you had it in you, you know, like I was wrong. Like you have my respect," you know, sort of giving him like the fucking dickhead, like,
Yeah.
you know, you earned something here.
Yeah.
And then Richie fucking shoots him.
Yeah.
And then
Which was
shoots him again.
satisfying.
But it was satisfying. But here's my thing. Then Richie's like starting to like cry and be like, "Oh, what did I do? Like this dude deserved it, man."
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, also he should have more situational awareness when he's trying to run away from a town where everything's so fucked up. It shouldn't be so easy to hit him in the back of the head with a shovel. Like,
Yeah.
stop crying. Get the fuck
Yeah.
out of there. You know, don't get hit in the head with a
So-
shovel.
Yeah.
By
So
an
the
elderly
farmer
man.
comes. Yeah, he hits him in the head. You know what though? The crying kind of almost makes sense for his character, because I was thinking about like he's got this persona he's trying to display to the world, like I'm a tough guy.
Right.
Like I'm as good as Jim, and you know, I'm better, I'm the man. But like you see throughout, this is like the best character part, is like he's not really a tough guy.
No,
you know, he's
no.
kind of a vulnerable,
He runs.
you know. Yeah.
You know?
Yes, he runs away.
He runs away from Riley when it's a one-on-one fight that he's looking at there, and he's running. So
Yeah.
he's
he's
not
running
a
from the
tough
fight.
guy. I don't know why he thought he could match up to Sawtooth Jack. But anyway.
Because he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's out there to prove himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Just seems like, I don't know, try out for the football team maybe instead. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
I hear you. But then he ends up in an open grave and getting buried alive at the end.
Yeah. And Kelly does nothing about it.
Yeah, Kelly's crying in the car. And then,
Which I have a problem with. Again, another.
yeah,
Because, I mean, she's out there trying to solo kill Sawtooth Jack, but she can't take on an elderly farmer armed with a shovel.
Did you kill it? Duh. let's go kill it.
You can't win this alone.
You want the prize money when I win it? Is that it?
No.
You would think that she could like shank him while he's while he's shoveling dirt onto Richie, but
I think the problem in this movie is these are kid characters, which a lot of situations, like, they're kids, they're scared, they don't know how to react. But in this town where this demonic shit happens once a year, this is an adult situation. So,
well, she literally
I don't
faced
know.
down Sawtooth Jack, this supernatural entity that is ripping people in half. They're seeing it rip people in half. They're not under any delusion that it's less dangerous than it is at this point. But she can't take out an elderly farmer.
Yeah, I think there's this juxtaposition in this movie of like being a kid and being an adult and being in these situations that I don't know.
Right.
I just think like there's no balance, which makes it feel weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you. Like you almost want her to, like, why was she just sitting there crying? And the dad Richie's dad comes and tells her to go.
Right.
So she actually, assuming she leaves the town. And then we have the credits roll,
and
then all of a sudden,
right,
we get the farmer, your boy. He's on screen getting the jack-o'-lantern ready, digs up Richie, puts him on the cross thing, puts the pumpkin thing on. We see a year later lapses. He's getting Sawtooth Jack down, and then all of a sudden Richie's dad is there and kills the farmer.
Right.
And he's like, what does he say? He says,
burn it all down or something.
Burn it all down, yeah.
It's like backdraft, you know.
Yeah.
Burn it. What do you do to little girls, Ronald?
What did you do to that little girl, Ronald?
Burn it down.
Burn them. What do you want to do to the world, Ronald?
Burn it all.
I want to burn it.
Burn it all.
Yeah, that's Richie's dad in that scene. You need to burn it instead of me, you know, or instead of Ronald.
I wish they had Donald Sutherland as the father. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. Although it would be hard for me to believe that Donald Sutherland is such a pussy throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I know. He would not take that shit.
Yeah, no. Like, he's got a shotgun in that one scene where he's telling Rix, you're not going after my boy. And Rix is like, oh, what are you going to do about it? And it's like, he's got a fucking shotgun. How is it that nobody died in this conversation?
You know why? You know what it is, too? It's Richie's dad is like Richie.
Yeah.
They're very similar characters.
Yeah, I guess that's... But then you would...
And I think Officer Rix knew it, too. Like,
right.
Because I think there's another scene, too, where he's like, you're on, you know, or it might have been this scene where he's basically like, you're going to do nothing. Like, you're not a big man.
Right, yeah.
Because he knows him.
Right. I suppose that's true.
Know.
Maybe, I don't know. I thought somebody should have died in that scene, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it makes more sense than I thought it did. But
I was really bummed that we didn't get Sawtooth Jack killing Officer Rix.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
He just got shot a couple times.
Yeah.
This Officer Rix deserved to be fucking torn apart.
He was a
by
bad
Sawtooth
man.
Jack.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't exactly Kyung Chul, but he was a bad he was definitely a bad guy. You know.
Kyung Chul versus Sawtooth Jack.
Kyung Chul would.
It's a toss-up.
I don't know. I think Kyung Chul might win it. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know.
That is true.
So yeah, that's how the movie ends. Is the idea that Sawtooth Jack is being released prematurely and taking the town by surprise to burn it all down. I believe that's what's being suggested anyway.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, wait a minute, is it like early, like too early, like where he's
Well,
like...
it was still light out. It was the way I saw it. Like, Sawtooth Jack wasn't released until nighttime for both of the other two runs that we see. So
yeah, so it was early enough where the kids were still locked up. So wait a minute, was it Richie's dad that unties Sawtooth Jack, or was it the farmer?
Yeah, Richie's dad kills the farmer.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so Richie's dad undoes him, and then the farmer's there, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, and then I believe, doesn't he shoot him with the shotgun? Am I remembering that right?
I thought he knifed him.
Maybe.
I could be wrong.
Maybe. Oh yeah,
I liked
that's the movie.
scene though. I liked the way it ended, because I thought that was like a proper, like, at least, I don't know.
Apparently, it. A lot of people were complaining that it's very different from the book, and they like the way the book ends better. But
yeah, I saw.
I don't know how the book ends, so
I don't know either
about that.
I did see people comparing the book and the movie, and people love this book, and it seems like they're pretty disappointed with.
And I saw that anybody who read the book pretty much didn't like this movie, and I didn't really like it that much either. I didn't hate it. I know I complained a lot during this review, but another thing we didn't talk about is I didn't like the creature design either. I didn't like the way Sawtooth Jack looked. Most people who don't like the movie at least still like how Sawtooth Jack looked, and I thought it was kind of corny looking myself.
I liked the scenes where he's far away and out of focus, and some of the fire scenes I really liked.
Once you get a close-up,
my biggest gripe is the close-up.
Yeah.
I wish there was more practical design of what he looked like, especially close-up.
Yeah.
Like, you can do more CGI effects when he's further away and things like that.
Right. And my issue wasn't even necessarily that it was CG. I thought the design was just sort of corny looking. I don't know. It almost reminded me of what's his name from the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Jack Skellington.
Yeah, he looked a bit like Jack Skellington to me. And if you look a bit like Jack Skellington, you can't scare me. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen people who say he looks like Pumpkinhead is obviously Sam from Trick or Treat. Mm-hmm. To me, the design is, I don't mind it. I like it because I think it's incorporating kind of the scarecrow type of figure with a pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern, and I think it kind of ties into the jack-o'-lanterns in town sort of ambiance.
Right.
You know, I'm not a huge creature feature fan anyways. Mm-hmm. So most creature features don't do much for me. This actually wasn't bad. And so I won't hate it
because I do kind of like creature features every now and then. And this didn't do much for me.
Well, maybe your bar is set, like, so with me, like, I don't have a bar when it comes to creature features.
Right.
All right. Well, I think we're on to our final rating. Now, there's Killer, which we thought this was great. We would recommend it. We would tell everybody about Sawtooth Jack.
Right.
We have Survivor, which it was okay. Might recommend it. Might have a second watch. It's just the middle tier.
Right.
Then we have Victim, which we were all the victims in watching it.
Mm-hmm.
This was not something we would recommend or watch again.
Right. Yeah.
Or really has
watching it
value.
was like being in a bunker with Sawtooth Jack coming after you.
That's a scary fucking sight.
Yeah. I don't want to be in that bunker.
No.
Not after it gets opened anyway. That's where I'd want to be if it doesn't get opened. But
I know. I'd have that thing padlocked.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, this movie has a lot of issues. It does. It has a lot of open-ended stuff, which frustrated me at times, but also kind of captivated me. It was weird. I really liked this movie. I actually give this one a killer.
Oh, really?
I for some reason, man, this movie just hit me right. Like, I don't know if it's the atmosphere.
It's got good atmosphere.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this movie a lot. Like, this is something that if there is going to be physical media for, I would definitely buy this and put it in my collection.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really enjoyed it that much. 100%. I know there's issues with this movie. I agree with a lot of what you're saying.
Right.
But for some reason, I can overlook it. And a lot of it is kind of this comfort horror movie for me. I don't know why. It hit me right.
It has a little bit of a classic feel to it in a way. You know,
Yeah,
like
it does.
An 80s Stephen King flick,
Yes.
Stephen King adaptation sort of deal.
I like the way it was stylized too. I think that hit me right because it wasn't, that's like we talked about, it wasn't really a period piece, but like just the kind of old school with the 60s, the way it was set.
Right.
But also they used like some kind of newer music and kind of newer vibes to it.
Right.
And I don't know.
I thought the music was all from the period. Am I wrong?
They had some rock. I believe they did do a Misfits song in the movie. I could be wrong.
So that would be 20 years after this movie is set at least. So yeah. I guess I could be.
I don't know. The way it was stylized just hit me right. And I did like the creature Sawtooth Jack. I thought it could have been better, but overall, like I thought it was scary. I love the scenes, like we said, in the cornfield. I mean, those are like top-notch scenes. The way the movie opens, it's fucking scary. I do wish we had more character development. I do wish there were like a couple more exposition scenes to it. I think that would have helped the movie out. This movie could have extended a little bit. I don't know what the budget was too. That's the other issue.
I don't know.
Maybe they only had a certain amount to work with, but I think this movie would have been a lot better. In saying how much I love it, it would have been more of my favorite if it just expanded on a couple of things here or there. So
yeah,
I'm giving it a killer. Okay. What do you got?
I went back and forth on this a little bit. But I ended up landing on Survivor, low tier Survivor. Because obviously I went back and forth between Victim and Survivor on this. It has too many problems that distracted me quite a bit. The characters I thought were kind of boring. But at the same time, it had some genuinely scary scenes. The atmosphere was really cool. I had fun with like the gore and the suspense of in that cornfield. I just wish some stuff was better fleshed out. And, I wish Sawtooth Jack looked better. If you honestly, but yeah, I'm going to go with low tier Survivor. I wouldn't, I recommend seeing it if you're interested or if you were on the fence about it. I'd kind of be like, you're not mentioning much and I wouldn't spend money on it. But
I got you. But overall, I think we recommend at least a view of this.
Yeah, sure.
And see where it takes it. I think it's entertaining at the very least. Like,
yeah.
I agree with you. There's things that are frustrating, and maybe that would turn off some people.
But there was a few times where I had to rewind it because I found myself checking my phone too much, and that's not usually a good thing, to be honest with you. But I still give it a Survivor.
No, I like this. I like that we kind of had different opinions.
Yeah.
Usually something like this, I wouldn't give a killer on, but like I said again, it's just.
I was expecting us to disagree, but ended up at the same overall rating. Basically, like you're like, I thought I was gonna end up like just above Victim, and you were gonna end up just below Killer. Is the way I thought it was gonna be. Basically, you know what I'm saying? But
sometimes it's just like you like what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
And sometimes it's hard to put into words, because I would say otherwise I would give this a Survivor, and a lot of what you said, but just for some reason it hit me better. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you like what you like.
Could have just been your mood too. You never know.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But I was in the mood
now,
for a creature feature that day.
Before we get out of here, we do want to do our content consumed, which is things we've been watching, things we've been listening to, things we've been reading, or things we've been gaming. For me, I haven't been watching or doing much of anything content wise. I have been listening to, it's kind of funny, some nostalgia music from, more of my childhood when I first started getting into rock and roll. I saw this YouTube interview with Rick Beato, right?
I love
Is that
Rick
how you pronounce his
Beato.
name? Yeah, Beato, and he did this awesome like kind of live chat thing where he basically played his playlist from 1994 through 1999 of just rock songs, any kind of rock songs.
Right.
It was, he went from things like Alanis Morissette to, Tool was in there.
Right. Yeah. I haven't seen this video yet. I have to get caught up on Beato.
It was so cool, man. And it got me thinking, like, what's my playlist from that era? Because that's really when I started, I had really gotten into like Nirvana and Pearl Jam.
Which would be pre-94, but.
Which would be pre-94. But going into like 94 through 99, that was like when everything was available on the radio and coming out on MTV.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
When we had MTV.
It was before it was basically, it was before internet music availability.
Yes. Yeah. You couldn't like stream music.
Right.
So
Napster was like 98.
Yeah. And then we were crashing our computers. With that shit, so.
The number of viruses I accidentally. No, Dad, I don't know why the computer's not working right. I have no clue.
Oh my God. If kids today could go back to when we had it, man. Oh. They wouldn't have patience for that shit.
No, they wouldn't, because their shit technology kind of works most of the time these days. Back to when technology barely worked at all. Man. Why would you want to have patience for that shit?
I agree, man.
Oh, man.
I mean, I had long hair then, but if I didn't, like, that shit would make me bald like I am today. Like, it just crazy. Right. But yeah, so I made a playlist from 1994 through 1999 of like rock songs and things I enjoyed. And it was kind of cool, like thinking about what songs I listened to then. Like Third Eye Blind. I was a huge Third Eye Blind fan.
Right.
And man, those songs hit right now, it's something about them.
Yeah. Some of those post-grunge songs, that post-grunge gets a bad rap, but there's some good stuff that came out of that.
The problem is it came after kind of a great music time.
Right.
And then it was kind of right before, I guess, a bad music time.
No.
It was not necessarily bad.
It was a lot more commercial than grunge, which came out of a very alternative, rebellious punk sort of feeling, That doesn't make it bad music, but that's the reason it gets a bad rap. It is very much cleaner, that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's it for me. What do you have?
So last night I watched a Japanese body horror film called Tatsuo the Iron Man, which is this is a still from it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's about a man who runs over a metal fetishist and then starts turning metal. The metal fetishist gets his revenge from beyond the grave, and it is bizarre. It is it reminds me,
even for you.
Oh yeah, even for me. Dude, it gets out there. Like there's points where it feels like you're watching a 9 Inch Nails music video. Yeah, it's very, it feels like a combination almost of like Cronenberg and like some Lynchian surrealism, where like all of a sudden you'll get like fast motion shots going through the street, and when I say it's bizarre, that means something, because I watch some weird stuff and it's normal to me. So this was out there. It's only about an hour long though. It's like an hour and 7 minutes long, and a really low budget, filmed on, I can't remember what type of film it was, but it's black and white, 4:9 aspect ratio, very dirty looking film.
Yeah.
And it is super cool. I highly recommend, if you've got an hour, 7 minutes to kill, look that up on Shudder. It's
nice.
It's great. Came out in 1989. One of my favorite artists in the world right now dropped a new single. St. Vincent dropped her new single called Broken Man. So I have been listening to that all day. I have listened to one song today, and I've been listening to music all day. So
nice.
It is amazing. It's she's going in sort of like a Queens of the Stone Age, 9 Inch Nails sort of direction in a way. It's
I like it.
It's way heavier than anything I've ever heard from her before. So I'm really looking forward to the new album that's coming out in April.
Nice.
And that's about it.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, dude, it's really good. It is so good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah. So that's about it.
We will be back again soon with another video. But until then, back to the padded room with you.